search end call. There we go. Hello.
Hey, John, it's Anthony. I'm so sorry I missed your call.
Anthony! Hi.
Hey, you still want to do that interview? I'm sorry.
Yes, sir. We are live. We're live, and we were waiting for you to call. We're absolutely amazed that you called, and I'm happy. How are you?
Good, good. You want to just do the interview over the phone?
Yeah, if that's okay.
Oh, yeah, perfect. Sounds good.
All right, sir. So I've been watching some of your videos, and you mentioned rhinos. Well, tell me a little bit about yourself. Let's go there.
Sure. Well, I'm a state representative right here in Central Florida. I consider myself an America First conservative. I've been in politics here in Florida for about 6 years. I was a city commissioner for 2 years and state representative for the last 3, and this will be my 4th and final year. And I'm running for U.S. Congress against radical leftist, demented Democrat Stephanie Murphy to beat her and get the majority back for the Republican Party. And I spent a lot of my time calling out Republicans, trying to move the Republican caucus further to the right because we waste so much time in power when we have power because Republicans just don't want to use the power they have. There's too much of a defensive mindset in the Republican Party and not enough an offensive mindset, even here in Florida where things are pretty good. So, we need people who are going to hold the Republican Party accountable, hold the elected officials accountable to deliver the political wins that most Republicans are just incapable of doing because they don't have the mindset that is required to win on whatever the issue is, immigration, big tech, fighting this transgenderism and wokeism that is trying to destroy American families. Whatever the issue is, Second Amendment issues especially, we just don't have the right type of leaders right now in the Republican Party. So replacing them is key. Do
you know anything about my channel or the type of audience I have?
No, I just heard about you last week, and I did a little Google research. Looks like you got some good conservative right-wing emphasis here, but I didn't really get a chance.
Our main thing is government accountability, especially the police, because the police are the enforcers and the ones capable to inflict harm on families, whether it be lying on reports, blue line activity, et cetera, et cetera. And our platform, for the most part, is no victim, no damages, no endangerment of the public, no crime. And it seems like you're kind of on that same wavelength.
Yeah, well, no, all government needs to be held accountable, and that includes, obviously, our police and sheriffs, because a lot of times you have elected officials who don't want to hold our guys accountable. And all government employees have to be held accountable, all agencies and what they're doing and what their actions are. And unfortunately, too many people on the right don't want to investigate what our law enforcement agencies are up to. And that's why at the federal level, you have rogue FBI, DOJ, Department of Justice has gone completely nuts because it went so long without any oversight or scrutiny.
How do you feel about victimless crimes in general? Such as,
well, for the decriminalization of marijuana, if that's what you mean. I mean,
well, I'm talking about any law where you go to court and there's no plaintiff there.
Well, what kind of crime are you describing?
Like, for instance, like marijuana. Marijuana is one where I want to smoke marijuana. There's no victim. That's the major one. But let's say, for instance, I roll through a stop sign. I still come to almost a complete stop. I look both ways. I don't endanger anybody. I don't do anything wrong. But yet the government still has the ability to impede my freedom and steal my money for that. That's what I'm talking about.
Okay.
And when we go to court, there's nobody there who's damaged. There's no damaged party. There's no plaintiff, and everybody who's against you works for the state who's prosecuting you. To us in our community, we consider that racketeering.
Mm-hmm. Well, with you on the marijuana one, I mean, traffic is an issue. There's definitely traffic. I mean, you're talking about a speeding ticket. I do believe that it could be abused, but not. I wouldn't put it on the level of where the failure and waste that we have in the current laws regarding marijuana. We have such a gigantic, wasteful, failed system that's enabled the police state to grow on marijuana. That would be my focus. The traffic, blowing a stop sign, I mean, obviously, I think that...
I'm not saying blowing a stop sign, because that's endangerment. I included that. I'm saying you almost come to a complete stop. You're completely safe. No one's injured. No one even came close to being injured or damaged. They could still impede your freedom and steal your family's money. That could be your last rent. That could be the groceries for the week. And the police don't care, and the government doesn't care. They take between $4 and $7 billion a year from Americans through traffic enforcement.
Yeah, it's crazy. No, I think there's too many laws and rules in general. I think we need to make sure we have good, strong anti-crime laws, but less and more serious ones, not bullshit ones like you're describing. I got you. Yeah.
How you feel about qualified immunity?
Well, it's a court doctrine, and I believe that if you're going to do something on that, it should be done through a statute. We shouldn't have the courts creating our public policy regarding when a person can sue a police agency. So, yeah, it's abusive. We got to make sure that we replace the court doctrine with some kind of other rule. But, yeah, no, it's definitely an issue.
Civil asset forfeiture.
Obviously, I filed a bill actually last year to get rid of it, but we got rid of it in Florida. But what they have now is a loophole where the police are working with the feds to do civil asset forfeiture. So, yeah, it's an abusive system and should be prohibited.
Okay. Is there any unconstitutional laws that you do approve of?
No.
Okay. You said you wanted to use the 10th Amendment for there was a specific reason you were talking about in one of your videos that I played for my audience here.
Well, the new OSHA mandates,
yes,
the vaccine mandates that the feds are putting forth. That's something the states could very easily push back on and need to push back on, along with a bunch of other things. But that's one of the top ones.
When you say the states, let's talk about Florida specific, because that's where I live too. How would we, the state, and what does the state even mean? Because to me, I feel like you need a swell of tens of thousands of people to get anything even close to be done, and they have to be persistent and ongoing.
You need a lot of people, you need a lot of energy, you need a lot of focus and hard work to get anything done. If that's your point? Yeah, I agree with that.
And would you agree that it's next to impossible to get locals to get together? Like for instance, people go to church religiously. Why can't there be a group of people who go to city council meetings religiously in the same manner, trying to accomplish the good of the people, instead of praying they actually put their feet to the fire?
People,
are apathetic.
Yeah, I'm not sure what the question is. What's the question?
I forgot to. Let's go to the Second Amendment. I like that you're a Second Amendment supporter. What about some of these leftist arguments that it's only for a militia and blah, 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 hunting and...
It's just it's complete nonsense. It's obviously for every individual citizen. If you read the famous Scalia opinion in D.C. versus Heller, which restored the court understanding of an individual right to carry and bear arms and use firearms for your own self-defense, he goes through the history of all the state constitutions which predated the U.S. Constitution, and specifically the Massachusetts state constitution, for which the Second Amendment was modeled on, or that the language from the Second Amendment was modeled on. And so I would tell your listeners to go read that. There is no militia argument. It's an embarrassing argument made by.
I always say we are the militia.
It's for every citizen, not a specialized militia.
The people are the militia. The people are the militia. Are they not?
The average citizen.
Yeah.
The average citizen. The Second Amendment is for every average citizen. That's what it's designed for, not for specialized.
Another way I argue that point, sir, is that there's a reason nobody ever dares to put ground troops on our soil. And one of the Japanese generals said attacking the U.S. it would be tough because there's a rifle behind every blade of grass. It's about our protection, not only from foreign, but domestic enemies. 100%?
That's right.
All right. So can we use the 10th Amendment how can we put the outlandish power of the police in check?
Well, you got to be more specific. I think that there is abuse.
Victimless crimes, lying on reports, accountability, internal affairs. Why would Like if I shoot someone, I can't say, hey, I'll tell my mom to email you. But when they do something like kill somebody, they let their own guys investigate their own crimes. There's a huge problem there.
Well, that's something that could easily be fixed at the local level by having an independent investigation force. Not a hard thing to do, but definitely a state and local issue. I'm running for Congress, so it's not really something the federal government is going to have a lot of oversight of. But I do think that states like Florida should push for independent investigations. I think that's a really good policy to have.
Okay, so I don't know how much time you have, but to finish up, if that's okay with you, what do you want to do as a congressman on the federal level?
Well, I think the top thing we need to do right now is completely and totally end all of this COVID tyranny. We have to go back to January 2020, back to sense of normality. No more mandates, no more of the nonsense related to the COVID, lockdowns, distancing, masks, vaccines, all of it. Just go back to normal, let people live their lives. That's key. That's number one. Number two, I think Joe Biden, although we won't have the votes to remove him in the Senate, I think in the House we absolutely must constitutionally. I think we're obligated to impeach him based on what he's done with the border, based on what he's done to sick the FBI on soccer moms who want to go to school board meetings, and based on a number of other unconstitutional edicts that he knowingly issued, including the vaccine mandate. So he needs to be impeached for that. And then third, I think we really need to focus 100% of our time on the border. We need to institute an immigration moratorium to cut back on the legal immigration, but there's no excuse why we haven't completely and totally stopped and brought the amount of illegal immigrants to a complete total number of zero. So that's going to be my focus going forward. And then once we fix those issues, the next is going to be big tech, because if we don't fix this big tech social media censorship issue, we're never going to be able to get good conservatives elected again, because the monolithic hegemonic global companies are just going to interfere in our ability to
communicate,
speech, and communicate.
You use the term rhino, which I believe means Republican in name only. Who are you referring to?
Oh, I would say about 60% of the Republican Party.
I'd say about 80, but in my opinion, you're a rhino, and I say that as a compliment because you seem more of a libertarian constitutionalist rather than a mainstream Republican, like some of the ones I don't even want to say their names. You know what I mean?
Oh, you've obviously never read the Republican platform. I mean, you read the Republican platform and what the Republican Party stands for and what it's supposed to be doing. I'm a Republican. I'm a real Republican.
Like a Barry Goldwater Republican?
Exactly. Barry Goldwater.
Like a Ron Paul Republican?
Yeah, like Ron Paul. If you look at the average Republican and you don't read the platform, you start to believe that the Republican brand is something other than what it is. The average Republican voter, their values and their principles and what they want to see done is radically different than the average elected official. So I'm a Republican.
Okay, so you're saying 60% of Republicans aren't abiding by the Republican platform.
Elected Republicans
are not abiding by the Republican platform, which is a more constitutionally driven platform.
That's right. Elected Republicans.
Elected.
The basics of the voting people themselves are almost unanimously in agreement with what needs to be done, but they're suffering from the fact that the party, deep state, the party officials, donors, special interests revolve at the top in American politics, basically manipulate the system to limit choice and get people elected on the Republican brand who therefore then stab everyone in the back. And that's very popular, and that's what happens.
All right, sir. Anything else you want to add in? I appreciate your time a ton.
All right, buddy. Thanks for having me on.
Thanks so much, Anthony. Good luck to you. You have my vote, okay?
Thank you.
Have a good day. Bye-bye. Oh, that wasn't bad. You seem like a down-to-earth guy. Some of the stuff we're saying to him sounded foreign to him, but at least he didn't freak out like some people. Like, you're crazy. You want anarchy. You blah, blah, blah. So that went well. Should I call Trevor back? Let me call.
Thank you for watching my video. I'm gonna make love to someone. Hey, Mr. Piglet, get the hell on. I wanna dance with my baby. Bump, bump, bump. And when the music's on, just leave us the hell alone. I wanna dance with my baby.